Welcome to day 26 of the Inktober Zentangle Challenge. It's the beginning of the final week of Inktober for this year, so we want to give it that final push. If you've stuck with it this far, that's awesome. If you're struggling to keep up, just keep plugging away at the videos until you get to where you want to be. But before we start today's drawing, I wanted to offer a philosophical question for your consideration. If you were to see a bird, let's say an owl, looking around the corner at you, how could you describe that? Would you say that that is an owl peak, perhaps? Well, yes, today we are drawing the tangle Owlpeek. Dad jokes aside. Let's get started. Well, as I said a moment ago, today's tangle pattern is called Owlpeek by Susan Yeo, and I am going to place that tangle pattern over here in this area of my composition. That's a fun little tangle and pretty simple to draw. I'm going to draw one complete pattern here, and then we'll see if I have room for some smaller versions in the same area. But basically, we're going to start by creating an X that will form the center of our pattern. And then we're going to cap off the top and bottom of that X. And now we draw a couple little swirls. Now the actual step out shows that the swirls on the opposite sides go in opposite directions. So you can do that, or you can do them in the same direction if you want a little different appearance, and so on. But I'm going to just create my first swirl right here. And I'll follow the step out and do mine in the opposite direction here. So we end up with something that looks like that. And now we're just going to connect the corners of our X to the shape here that we just made with those swirls. Just kind of closing that shape up. And that is the basic pattern. Now we begin at this point to start embellishing or adding details. One that I'm going to use is I'm going to create an aura inside these little triangles. Then I'm going to draw some lines that emanate from that corner or the point and go out and meet that line that is perpendicular there. And I'll do that on both of these triangles. And you can add additional details if you so choose, but this is the pattern, as is. That is the completed Owlpeek pattern. But I am going to add a little more embellishment. So I'm going to create some auras here that are triangular in shape as well. Just filling out a little more of the pattern so it's not quite so plain. And I'll go ahead and ink these in. Now we could also add some additional Owlpeek shapes. You could order them, you could fill them with different embellishments. Some people like to, I looked online, they're doing orbs or things like that within these swirls, and that's completely fine. You could stack them side by side, or you can stack them right on top of each other or on the bottom of one another. So however you think there's room in your particular layout, you go ahead, but I'm going to add an additional one right here, I think. So I'll start by just creating my X and then repeating those processes that we just did. All right, so I think that's fine there. I think I'm also going to add one more smaller one right beside it here. And you know what? I'm going to throw one more in there, right from the side like this. Now the only thing I'm going to do to embellish these just a tiny bit further is I'm going to add some white dots, similar to what I did with the other pattern here recently, up here, if you recall, with Ing, and I'm going to just add some white dots with my gel pen into these darkened areas. Just enough to be different. And I think I'm going to also do one additional thing. I'm going to make a little bit bolder outer line that sort of surrounds the entire pattern that I've made here. May seem like a minor detail, but as we get here toward the end, I want to make sure that each piece is easily visible and discernible. Now for the shading, I'm going to just add a little bit around these swirls, because they're kind of flat looking right now, so I'm hoping that this will just be just enough. So this is the finished day 26 addition to our composition. We've added the Owlpeek Tangle, or at least I have, over here in this corner. And Gayle, let's take a look at yours.
I did it kind of in the same space, just kind of stuck more to the basics.
All right. Very simple, straightforward use of the pattern. And you filled more or less the same area, like you said, that I did.
Yeah.
So just add a little shadow to your lines and to the curves. Nice. Very clean and nice looking. It fits well with the cleanness of your area over here. And here's the side by side. Let's zoom in for that. So we can see, and your sizing, of course, is quite a bit different just because of how your spaces ended up too.
Yeah.
So very nice. Great job.
That one's fun to fit in, like where you have to curve and stuff, because it works.
Yeah, you can angle it just as you go. Yep. No, I think that's really neat. Well, folks, that's it for today's session. Like I said, this is the final week. We've got a couple more Toon surprises coming, and filling in the rest of our tangles. Well, we have 5 left after today.
Yep.
And so don't miss it. Keep coming back, and we look forward to sharing with you. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.